Do you ever notice how a narcissist in your life doesn't just destroy you directly, but he manages to use everyone else and poison the people around you to go against you too? Like, you start the relationship thinking it's just the two of you in the relationship, committed, and you think the chaos might be contained, but it's not. And one day out of nowhere, your friends stop calling you, your family starts acting a little bit distant, your coworkers give you weird side eyes, and you're left standing there wondering, what actually happened? What happened to me? What happened to the relationship? And when you start to realize this, you're not just fighting him anymore, you're actually starting to fight an entire army that he's sent after you. We call this the flying monkeys. The ones that he's convinced and brought into his reality. We call this the flying monkeys. The ones that he's convinced and brought into his reality. Let me tell you, when a narcissist activates flying monkeys, when they start pulling people in from your world into his orbit, it's not by accident, it's calculated, it's vicious, and oftentimes very, very strategic. Sometimes planning the next move or planning the next supply. Because the thing about this is narcissists know as long as he's got your support, like you've got strength, as long as you have support from anybody. Like if you have people reminding you of who you are, people that keep you grounded, that tell you the truth, people that show you reality when he's gaslighting you, like that's a problem. So he has to start doing things strategically to start pulling you away. So what does he do? He starts eroding that support system piece by piece. It's a slow, methodical way. He'll go to your parents, your siblings, your friends, your coworkers, anyone that matters to you, and start planting just tiny seeds of doubt. Small moments. He's not going to do it outright at first. He's not going to attack initially. Like, he's smarter than that. There's going to be a piece that he's going to come in piece by piece, playing the victim. Getting to a place of leaning in close to these people, lowering his voice and saying something like, I hate to be the one to tell you this, but... And it's almost like he acts like he's carrying a heavy burden by being with you. Like, it's so hard for him to bring it up. It's so hard to be with you. Sometimes it might even be like he's trying to help, and then he'll drop the bomb. He'll drop the reality of what he's trying to say, and he'll take things that you said in private, he'll twist them, he'll exaggerate them, he'll fabricate entire lies and make it sound like he's the one who's actually suffering and you're the one being abusive. And suddenly you're not a woman that's holding the family together, running a business, doing everything for everyone else. You're the unstable one. You're manipulative. You're the problem. You're the issue in the relationship. And because narcissists are masters at reading people, he's going to tailor the story perfectly for each person, knowing exactly what buttons to push and what you're going to do to make other people doubt you. He knows exactly how to paint you as the crazy one to your friends so that they start to doubt and wonder because they have seen you respond that way a little bit. He knows how to frame the narrative so it looks like you're the one that's the bad guy, you're the villain, and he looks like the poor person that's I'm just misunderstood. And inside of this, a lot of people will fall for it. They will buy into his reality that he's selling. Because narcissists don't walk into the room with devil horns. They walk in with charm, with charisma, with generosity, and he knows how to play the part. He knows how to smile a certain way, to make everybody feel seen until the moment he plants the knife. Until the moment that he gets to where he's manipulating you even more, and you are left feeling isolated, confused, betrayed, frustrated, like just stuck. And people who once had your back, they now hesitate. They kind of pull away. They cancel plans. They don't return your calls. And it feels like the ground beneath you starts to crumble and starts to disappear. And if you're already deep into the fog of the relationship, you might already be questioning yourself anyways. This just drives the knife that he's put in your back a little bit deeper. And you start thinking, maybe I am the problem. Maybe he is right. Maybe it is an issue. But once you understand that you're not the problem here, it's actually calculated. He's just weaponizing people around you to keep you stuck in the relationship, to keep you confused, to keep you trapped. Because as long as you're isolated, as long as you doubt yourself, as long as you have no support around anyone else, he controls the narrative, which is what he's always trying to control. Like, narcissists are about control. It's not just controlling you, it's controlling the narrative. It's not just enough for him to break you down. He's going to make sure that there's no one else to lift you back up and to prove that he's wrong and that you're right. Like, I've seen this play out over and over, like thousands of different people I've worked with. One woman that I worked with had a narcissistic husband who didn't just manipulate her, he systematically destroyed her entire support network, all the different people in her life. Like he'd show up with the family and he'd act like he was the perfect person, complimenting everybody, helping people, like even charming her parents, like charming her in front of other people. But behind closed doors, he'd tell people other things. Tell her parents, I'm really worried about her. She's been so emotional lately. I don't know what to do. I'm struggling because of how she keeps responding about different things. And he'd make himself look like the victim and make her look unstable. And slowly but surely, the parents started pulling away. Then he'd go after her friends. He'd casually mention that she's been under a lot of stress and maybe she's not herself and she's doing everything that she can, but like he's trying to support her, but it just doesn't seem to be helping. And all of a sudden, they start pulling a little bit because they don't want to add to the stress. But he's the one that's creating the chaos. He's the one that's gaslighting her into believing this, like lying to her, tearing things down behind the scenes, and oftentimes pitting her against everybody else. But everyone around sees him as the stable, the reasonable, the good guy in the relationship. But that's the danger of the flying monkeys, is they start to believe the narcissist reality. They don't even realize that they're being used as pawns. They think they're actually helping most of the time. They think that they're seeing the truth. They think that they're seeing reality, but all they are is getting gaslit by him. And you're left fighting for your sanity, trying to figure out what is going on and why is everybody pulling away. Anyone who could be swayed that easily, who can be convinced to turn against you without ever coming to you directly, they were never your safety net to begin with. I know that's probably one of the hardest things to hear, because you had friends and family, like people that were close to you, and it feels like you're losing everything at once. But if they weren't willing to come to you and talk to you, if they weren't willing to verify, hey, I think something's wrong, like your husband said this, hey, the narcissist in your life, he said this, right? Like trying to connect back to you to figure it out. If they didn't even do that, like, is it actually a friend that's supporting you? Like sometimes the narcissist in this case is doing you a favor because he's showing you who is never really in your corner, who is just there to be there, but didn't really care. Like you might have some people with strong character and strong discernment that they don't just jump ship every time someone whispers in the ear, but they actually come to you. They actually help work through it. They actually try to figure out, wait, what's going on? Like they're going to ask questions. Those are the people that you actually want to trust because they've seen you over the years, not what's being spun behind closed doors, not what he's telling other people. Those are the people that are worth keeping in your life, that need to be drawn close. Everyone else, let them go. Like it's easier said than done, especially if it's friends and family. But if they're not willing to see truth, if they're not willing to see what's actually happening, let them go. Losing people hurts, especially when it's like your family or friends that you've had for years or people that you thought you knew. It feels like there's betrayal stacked on top of betrayal, stacked on top of betrayal. Like he's ripping you apart inside the relationship, and then he's ripping apart your community, your family, your friends, your reputation. Your entire world is disintegrating from underneath you. Then you might be left wondering, like, how the hell are you supposed to get out? Like, what's actually happening? It feels like everybody's standing on his side, and nobody's there to support you. But I need you to be able to see that this is where we start bringing your power back into the picture, not by begging, not by trying to defend yourself, not by chasing after all these people, trying to convince them, like, no, this didn't happen. I'm not trying to convince them of your worth. You reclaim your power by standing tall and being true to you, by letting the truth of who you are speak louder than all the lies. You see, many people, when they're going through some type of a smear campaign, they want to be able to justify, that's not me, that's not what's happening, but oftentimes they just look even worse. Oftentimes people go back and forth. One of the biggest mistakes people make when a narcissist turns others against them is they try going on this whole defensive route. They'll try to explain, they'll try to justify, they'll try to go and find people and be like, hey, let me show you. Here's all the evidence. Like, I'm right, he's wrong. But all this does is it starts to prove to him that he's still in charge of the situation, and it's exactly what he wants. Like the more you explain, the more you engage, the deeper you sink into the quicksand that he's already laid out for you, and it's a trap. He's prepared and put this all down to make you think that you can actually prove your worth and value, prove that you're actually right, but he wants you to look like the unstable one that's emotional. It's like desperate to get the truth out, because all it does, it confirms the story that he's already spinning behind your back. He's already played this and laid this out. Stop playing his game. Instead, do the opposite. Hold your ground, show up honest for you. Operate with who you actually are. Show up authentic. Let people see who you are without a word. That you are who you are, not who he says you are. The people with discernment, they're going to see it. They'll start to notice that there's gaps, there's inconsistencies. The moment where the puzzle piece doesn't quite fit inside of the puzzle. And slowly you're going to start coming back to you. Maybe not all of them, but again, that shows you who's actually willing to see. Some people will believe whatever narrative is the easiest, whatever drama keeps them entertained, or out of drama that they can stay away from. Like, let those people go, because their loyalty was never about you anyways. The ones who matter, the ones who truly knew you, those are the ones that are going to show up. They're going to feel the pull, and they're going to see the cracks in his mask and be like, something's not right because she was never this way. It doesn't make sense. And when they do, they'll be standing there, not broken, not bitter, but whole, standing with you. You might have someone where you've had in his life and he spent years running smear campaigns behind your back. One woman had this, where her husband was doing this. Family gatherings, phone calls, like he'd whisper things to new relatives. He'd whisper different truths, half-truths, lies, exaggerating stories, trying to paint her as the villain. And at first it got to the place where it worked. People stopped inviting her to things, stopped returning calls, like stopped investing as much time in her, and she felt like she was being erased even from her own family. It didn't make sense. Why was this happening? But instead of her chasing and instead of her trying to clear her name, she just paused. She let herself grieve. She processed the betrayal, the loss, the gut-wrenching moment of like feeling abandoned by her family, and then she did something completely different. She reached back in. One by one, she reconnected with the people who mattered, the ones that actually saw and understand, not with explanations, not with accusations of what was happening, what was right and wrong. She just showed up as her, showed up authentic as herself, kind, consistent, steady. She said, I know you probably heard some things, and I'm sorry that some of them were made to listen to that, but I'm always here if you want to talk. No drama, no defense. And slowly people started to actually come back around. They started to see her. When they started to see her for themselves, they felt her energy, her presence, and it didn't match the story that they've been fed. It didn't match everything that they've been sold. The lie started to crumble. But I need you to see, this is the piece. Some people will never come back into your life. Some people brought into the smear campaign, they will buy into it so much they will leave completely. And you have to understand and realize that if they could leave you that easily, maybe they weren't worth holding on to. Because real relationships aren't that fragile. A real relationship isn't swayed by one person's manipulation. If someone can discard you based on gossip, they were never invested in you to start off with. They never knew who you really were. The brutal clarity that narcissists unintentionally give you is just this. They reveal in your life who's solid and who's always been conditional. Like, there's an ache that comes with that. It's not easy. It's not a fun piece. And oftentimes it feels completely unfair because you didn't do anything wrong, but now you're the one left picking up the pieces, trying to figure out how to show up and who's actually there for you. But that's when healing can actually start. Not by trying to glue the relationship back together that was never sturdy, that was built on lies to start off with, but learning to actually stand strong without needing validation from people who waver. That's the piece that he's counting on, that you'll crumble without your support system, that you will fall apart without having people in your life, that you'll start to question yourself, question reality, question what's happening, that you'll finally break and go back to him, or you'll break and just believe him, but you won't. Because you're here right now and you're stronger than that. You've already survived the relationship with him. You've already endured gaslighting, manipulation, the emotional warfare that he's been throwing at you. This right now inside of the smear campaign, the flying monkeys, this is just the fallout. It's 100% survivable. It actually is clarifying more things for you because once you stop chasing, stop defending, stop bleeding out, trying to control what others think, you can actually turn back and you can start to rebuild. Once you stop reacting to his stories, reacting to his lies, you can start to create the life that you actually want. You can create a life that doesn't hinge on anyone else's opinion of you, but you can actually build the life that you desire. That's where real power lies, because no one can take away your creative power. No one can actually take away how you grow and develop you.
Hey, just want to jump in here really quick and say you might have been watching my content for a period of time, but you haven't taken the next step. You haven't taken the next moment, the next idea, the next thought to actually change your life. And I want to provide you with a couple different options. One of the ways is to be able to work with me personally inside the Thriver Intensive. What I do inside of there is help you break the trauma bond, eradicate the triggers, and move forward in the healing process. You got 24/7 access to me. You've got access to other women who are going through it, access to other coaches, but a support system that you need to finally break free once and for all, and to make sure that you don't go back, that you don't interact with them again, and that you finally find peace. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about this, then click on the link down below, but it'll be rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. You'll be able to hear a little bit from me, you'll be able to hear a little bit from my wife, and be able to hear a little bit more about what I do to help you move forward. If that resonates with you, click on the link below, rawmotivations.com/breakthrough.
Now, I get it. You might be stuck thinking it's not fair, and it's not. It's not fair that he gets to lie about you, smear you, and walk away looking like he's the victim and you're the bad person. It's not fair that people that you've loved, people that you've trusted, that they can be so easily manipulated and be lost and you no longer have them in your life. It's not fair that you have to sit in the wreckage while he still plays the hero and walks away scot-free. But fair actually isn't the factor that we're talking about here, because narcissists don't play fair. They don't care about the truth. They don't care about loyalty. They don't care about the years that you put and placed into relationships. He cares about control. Controlling the narrative, power over you, power over others. And if it means turning people against you, it gives him more control, well, it works. If it isolates you, if it weakens you, if it strips you of your support system, he'll do it without a second thought because it puts him in control of the narrative. Empathy, that's not a part of the question. Being fair, that's not part of the question. And that's not part of the equation that's here. He's playing chess. Most people, he's moving them around like pawns, waiting to see who he can flip, who he can switch to his side, who he can manipulate, who he can pit against you, all to be able to control the narrative. It becomes this game that he's playing back and forth. You haven't been playing games. You thought you were in a relationship, but now you're living in the fallout, feeling the ache. Wondering how people who supposedly knew you could believe the worst so easily, to believe his reality. That may be the part that keeps you up at night. Not even what he said, but how quickly everybody else accepted what he said. How no one stopped to ask you. Like no one even questioned it. That's the betrayal that might cut deeper than what anything he ever could have said. But I want you to hear this right here, right now. You don't have to fix that. You don't have to spend another second trying to change their minds, trying to defend your name or trying to prove your worth or value to another person. Because anybody who believed the lies without coming to you, they were never standing on solid ground. They were never worth your time and attention. Now I know it's hard for you to hear, but sometimes the narcissist uses the very things you confided in him to hurt you. The family secrets, the private struggles, your anxiety, the stress, the vulnerable pieces that you trusted with him, he weaponized and then he broadcasted to other people. It feels like there's nothing more violating than that. It's like having your soul stripped bare. Like nothing is sacred anymore. Nothing that you share is even protected anymore. When that happens, the damage feels like it's permanent and it's never going to heal, but it's not. Because even if he exposed something you wish that he hadn't, even if all the people around you recoil, you still have one unshakable truth. That's who you are when you stand in your integrity. Being able to own any mistakes. You can acknowledge your humanness, who you actually are, but you don't have to owe anyone your shame. You don't have to stick inside that. Shame is always external. It's not because you feel shame because it's who you are. It's because someone else placed that upon you. And yeah, the people in your life, the people who matter in your life, they're the ones that are going to see it. They're going to have the discernment to come and talk to you. They're going to see the difference between who you are and the version he's trying to sell and spin off to everybody else. They will feel it. They will see it. They will understand it. It might take time for they to see it. It might take silence. It might take years of waiting. It might take watching your life while you unapologetically just live your life while he continues to spin in circles selling truth. But eventually the truth is going to surface. The people that are in your life that are worth keeping, they're going to recognize it. And the ones who don't, let them go. Let them go. You don't need people in your life who are that easily swayed into believing something bad about you. You want people that are going to support you, that are actually going to know you. This isn't just about narcissists turning people against you. It's about you learning to stop outsourcing your worth to other people, outsourcing your validation. It's about breaking the patterns that taught you to bend, to perform, to shrink, just to keep people around. This is where we're talking about you stepping into your authenticity, you being true to who you are, regardless about what other people think. Realizing that anyone who requires you to constantly prove your value and your worth isn't someone that you need in your life. That's where freedom actually comes into this entire conversation, because the narcissist, he thinks that he's winning because he's flipped people against you. He thinks he's stripped you of your allies. He's left you exposed. He's backed you into a corner and made you feel like the worst person ever. But what he didn't realize is he's also stripped away all the dead weight. All the people who could have been manipulated. All the people who bought into the lies. The relationships built on conditions, on appearances, and even on convenience. Flip it for a moment. Just for a moment, flip the story in your mind. He's actually done you a favor. Because now you can rebuild knowing who's actually true in your life, who's actually there to be able to help and support. Now you can actually surround yourself with people who can see you clearly, who love you without needing a spin story, who choose you not based on your performance, but based on who you actually are. And it starts with you choosing to stand tall, holding your ground, choosing not to get sucked into the chaos that he's putting out there, not to get sucked into the stories that he's trying to get you to combat, because the narcissist is going to keep you playing the same game over and over and over again. He's going to keep recruiting new flying monkeys, new people, shifting the narrative to try to match whatever he's trying to sell, trying to maintain control. But inside of all this, instead of you doing anything against it, you just don't play his game. You don't react. Every time he sends someone to poke at your piece, to push your buttons, you get to detach and you get to focus on you. You get to stand in your truth, live your life authentically, and as a result, you build stronger, clearer, freer life than what you've ever had before. So if you're standing in the middle of the wreckage right now, feeling isolated, doubting yourself, wondering how to pick up the pieces, I want you to know you're not alone. You're not crazy inside of this fight, and you don't have to do this by yourself. It's one of the hardest things that you've had to go through, and you've survived the worst part of it. Now it's time to actually start focusing on you and on your healing. It's time to stop spinning in circles, trying to prove who you are to these people who don't even deserve access to you, and it's time to reclaim who you are, your power, your voice, your identity. And if you're ready for that, ready to finally step out of the fog, out of the chaos, out of the lies, I want you to head over to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough. Watch the video, fill out the application. Let's get you off of the emotional battlefield that you're on, and let's get you free. Because you don't have to keep living in survival mode, trying to figure it out and trying to make it. You don't have to keep carrying all this weight of everyone else's opinions, of everyone else's thoughts. It's time to start living for you. Authentic, true, and free.
You've been told it's all your fault, and that makes you feel crazy. No one understands you, and that leaves you in a place of being alone. You've tried to break free multiple times, and that leaves you helpless because nothing you've done has actually worked. It hasn't actually got you free or liberated from this toxic relationship. So you feel crazy, alone, and hopeless. Guess what? That's a lie. Because all it is how you've been raised and conditioned inside of this abusive relationship over and over. And as a result, you've sacrificed your growth, you've sacrificed your worth, and you've been trapped inside of a toxic relationship. What if I showed you the path to freedom? A way for you to actually get free mentally and emotionally from the toxicity that's happening right here, right now. You deserve more. You deserve to be able to heal. And I want to help you with that. If I can help you with that, go to rawmotivations.com/breakthrough, schedule a call there, and let's talk.
Let's be real for a second. If you've ever been trapped in a narcissistic relationship, you know what it's like to be tangled in this web of lies, manipulation, control, confusion. You know what it's like to have your identity just taken away, your reality to be completely twisted, your worth to be questioned, and slowly being stripped away piece by piece by piece of who you actually are. But what happens when you get to the place where a narcissist actually comes face to face with someone that he can't control or that he can't manipulate? Someone who sees through the mask that he currently has. Someone who refuses to believe the lies that he's projecting and saying. Someone who refuses to actually play the game. What happens when a narcissist meets someone who is authentic, who's truthful, and who's honest? Let's break it down today and be able to see what happens when this happens. A narcissist meets someone who's authentic, truthful, and honest, and cannot be manipulated.